does not seal it. He is 108,000 miles from truth. In the light of day, yet in a dream, he talks of a dream. A monster among monsters. He intended to deceive the whole crowd. Hogen of Serio Monastery was about to lecture before dinner when he noticed that the bamboo screen lowered for meditation had not been rolled up. He pointed to it. 2 monks arose from the audience and rolled it up. Hogen, observing the physical moment, said, "The state of the first monk is good, not that of the other." Mumun's comment, "I want to ask you, which of those 2 monks gained and which lost? If any of you has one eye, you will see the failure on the teacher's part. However, I'm not discussing gain and loss." When the screen is rolled up, the great sky opens. Yet the sky is not attuned to Zen. It is best to forget the great sky and to retire from every wind. A monk asked Nansen, "Is there a teaching no master ever preached before?" Nansen said, "Yes, there is." "What is it?" asked the monk. Nansen replied, "It is not mind, it is not Buddha, it is not things." Mumon's comment, "Old Nansen gave away his treasure words. He must have been greatly upset." Nansen was too kind and lost his treasure. Truly, words have no power. Even though the mountain becomes the sea, words cannot open another's mind. Mission is a delusion. Tokusan was studying Zen under Ryutan. One night he came to Ryutan and asked many questions. The teacher said, "The night is getting old. Why don't you retire?" So Tokusan bowed and opened the screen to go out, observing, "It is very dark outside." Ryutan offered Tokusan a lighted candle to find his way. Just as Tokusan received it, Ryutan blew it out. At that moment the mind of Tokusan was opened. "What have you attained?" asked Ryutan. "From now on," said Tokusan, "I will not doubt the teacher's words." The next day, Ryutan told the monks at his lecture, "I see one monk among you. His teeth are like the sword tree. His mouth is like the blood bowl. If you hit him hard with a big stick, he will not even so much as look back at you. Someday he will mount the highest peak and carry my teaching there." On that day, in front of the lecture hall, Tokusan burned to ashes his commentaries on the sutras. He said, "However abstruse the teachings are, in comparison with this enlightenment, they are like a single hair to the great sky. However profound the complicated knowledge of the world, compared to this enlightenment, it is like one drop of water to the great ocean." Then he left that monastery. Mumon's comment, when Tokusan was in his own country, he was not satisfied with Zen, although he had heard about it. He thought, "Those southern monks say they can teach Dharma outside of the sutras. They are all wrong. I must teach them." So he traveled south. He happened to stop near Ryutan's monastery for refreshments. An old woman who was there asked him, "What are you carrying so heavily?" Tokusan replied, "This is a commentary I have made on the Diamond Sutra after many years of work." The old woman said, "I read that sutra which says, the past mind cannot be held, the present mind cannot be held, the future mind cannot be held. You wish some tea and refreshments? Which mind do you propose to use for them?" Tokusan was as though dumb. Finally he asked the woman, "Do you know of any good teacher around here?" The old woman referred him to Ryutan, not more than 5 miles away. So he went to Ryutan in all humility, quite different from when he had started his journey. Ryutan in turn was so kind he forgot his own dignity. It was like pouring muddy water over a drunken man to sober him. After all, it was an unnecessary comedy. 100 hearings cannot surpass one seeing. But after you see the teacher, that one glance cannot surpass 100 hearings. His nose was very high, but he was blind after all. Two monks were arguing about a flag. One said, "The flag is moving." The other said, "The wind is moving." The sixth patriarch happened to be passing by. He told them, "Not the wind, not the flag. Mind is moving." Mumon's comment. The sixth patriarch said, "The wind is not moving, the flag is not moving, mind is moving." What did he mean? If you understand this intimately, you will see the two monks there trying to buy iron and gaining gold. The sixth patriarch could not bear to see those two dull heads, so he made such a bargain. Wind, flag, mind moves. Same understanding. When the mouth opens, all are wrong. Daibai asked Baso, "What is Buddha?" Baso said, "This mind is Buddha." Mumon's comment. If anyone fully understands this, he is wearing Buddha's clothing. He is eating Buddha's food. He is speaking Buddha's words. He is behaving as Buddha. He is Buddha. This anecdote, however, has given many a pupil the sickness of formality. If one truly understands, he will wash out his mouth for 3 days after saying the word Buddha, and he will close his ears and flee after hearing, "The mind is Buddha." Under blue sky in bright sunlight, one need not search around. Asking what Buddha is like hiding loot in one's pockets and declaring oneself innocent. A traveling monk asked an old woman the road to Taizan, a popular temple supposed to give wisdom to the one who worships there. The old woman said, "Go straight ahead." When the monk proceeded a few steps, she said to herself, "He also is a common churchgoer." Someone told this incident to Joshu, who said, "Wait until I investigate." The next day he went and asked the same, and the old woman gave the same answer. Joshu remarked, "I have investigated that old woman." Mumon's comment. The old woman understood how war is planned, but she did not know how spies sneak in behind her tent. Old Joshu played the spy's work and turned the tables on her, but he was not an able general. Both had their faults. Now I want to ask you, what was the point of Joshu's investigating the old woman? When the question is common, the answer is also common. When the question is sand in a bowl of boiled rice, the answer is a stick in the soft mud. A philosopher asked Buddha, "Without words, without the wordless, will you tell me truth?" The Buddha kept silence. The philosopher bowed and thanked the Buddha, saying, "I have cleared away my delusions and entered the true path." After the philosopher had gone, Ananda asked the Buddha what he had attained. The Buddha replied, "A good horse runs even at the shadow of the whip." Mumon's comment. Ananda was the disciple of the Buddha. Even so, his opinion did not surpass that of outsiders. I want to ask you monks, how much difference is there between disciples and outsiders? To tread the sharp edge of a sword, to run on smooth frozen ice, one needs no footsteps to follow. Walk over the cliff with hands free. A monk asked Baso, "What is Buddha?" Baso said, "This mind is not Buddha." Mumon's comment, "If anyone understands this, he is a graduate of Zen." If you meet a fencing master on the road, you may give him your sword. If you meet a poet, you may offer him your poem. When you meet others, say only a part of what you intend. Never give the whole thing at once. Nansen said, "Mind is not Buddha. Learning is not the path." Mumon's comment, Nansen was getting old and forgot to be ashamed. He spoke out with bad breath and exposed the scandal of his own home. However, there are few who appreciate his kindness. When the sky is clear, the sun appears. When the earth is parched, rain will fall. He opened his heart fully and spoke out, but it was useless to talk to pigs and fish. Seijo, the Chinese girl, observed Goso, had two souls, one always sick at home and the other in the city, a married woman with 2 children. Which was the true soul? Mumon's comment, when one understands this, he will know it is possible to come out from one shell and enter another, as if one were stopping at a transient lodging house. But if he cannot understand, when his time comes and his 4 elements separate, he will be just like a crab dipped in boiling water, struggling with many hands and legs. In such a predicament he may say, "Mumon did not tell me where to go," but it will be too late then. The moon above the clouds is the same moon. The mountains and rivers below are all different. Each is happy in its unity and variety. This is one, this is two. Goso said, when you meet a Zen master on the road, you cannot talk to him, you cannot face him with silence. What are you going to do? Mumon's comment, in such a case, if you can answer him intimately, your realization will be beautiful. But if you cannot, you should look about without seeing anything. Meeting a Zen master on the road, face him neither with words nor silence. Give him an uppercut, and you will be called one who understands Zen. Gozo said, when a buffalo goes out of his enclosure to the edge of the abyss, his horns and his head and his hoofs all pass through, but why can't the tail also pass? Mumon's comment, if anyone can open one eye at this point and say a word of Zen, he is qualified to repay the 4 gratifications. And not only that, he can save all sentient beings under him. But if he cannot say such a word of true Zen, he should turn back his tail. If the buffalo runs, he will fall into the trench. If he returns, he will be butchered. That little tale is a very strange thing. A monk asked Joshu why Bodhidharma came to China. Joshu said, "An oak tree in the garden." Mumon's comment: if one sees Joshu's answer clearly, there is no Shakyamuni Buddha before him, and no future Buddha after him. Words cannot describe everything. The heart's message cannot be delivered in words. If one receives words literally, he will be lost. If he tries to explain with words, he will not attain enlightenment in this life. Hyakujo wished to send a monk to open a new monastery. He told his pupils that whoever answered a question most ably would be appointed. Placing a water vase on the ground, he asked, "Who can say what this is without calling its name?" The chief monk said, "No one can call it a wooden shoe." Isan, the cooking monk, tipped over the vase with his foot and went out. Hyakujo smiled and said, "The chief monk loses," and Isan became the master of the new monastery. Mumon's comment: Isan was brave enough, but he could not escape Hyakujo's trick. After all, he gave up a light job and took a heavy one. Why can't you see he took off his comfortable hat and placed himself in iron stocks? Giving up cooking utensils, defeating the chatterbox. Though his teacher sets a barrier for him, his feet will tip over everything, even the Buddha. Bodhidharma sits facing the wall. His future successor stands in the snow and presents his severed arm to Bodhidharma. He cries, "My mind is not pacified. Master, pacify my mind." Bodhidharma says, "If you bring me that mind, I will pacify it for you." The successor says, "When I search my mind, I cannot hold it." Bodhidharma says, "Then your mind is pacified already." Mumon's comment: that broken-toothed old Hindu, Bodhidharma, came thousands of miles over the sea from India to China as if he had something wonderful. He's like raising waves without wind. After he remained years in China, he had only one disciple, and that one lost his arm and was deformed. Alas, ever since he has had brainless disciples. Why did Bodhidharma come to China? For years, monks have discussed this. All the troubles that have followed since came from that teacher and disciple. In the time of Buddha Shakyamuni, Manjushri went to the assemblage of the Buddhas. When he arrived there, the conference was over and each Buddha had returned to his own Buddha land. Only one girl was yet unmoved in deep meditation. Manjushri asked Buddha Shakyamuni how it was possible for this girl to reach this state, one which even he could not attain. "Bring her out from samadhi and ask her yourself," said the Buddha. Manjushri walked around the girl 3 times and snapped his fingers. She still remained in meditation. So by his miracle power he transported her to a high heaven and tried his best to call her, but in vain. Buddha Shakyamuni said, even 100,000 Manjushris could not disturb her. But below this place, past 1,200 million countries, is a bodhisattva, Momyo, seed of delusion. If he comes here, she will awaken. No sooner had the Buddha spoken than that bodhisattva sprang up from the earth and bowed and paid homage to the Buddha. Buddha directed him to arouse the girl. The bodhisattva went in front of the girl and snapped his fingers, and in that instant, the The girl came out of her deep meditation. One's comment. Old Shakyamuni set a very poor stage. I want to ask you, monks, if Manjusri